Coming up on this edition of Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera.
Got to make the plays. Got to execute. Got to put this one behind us as much as it hurt.
It is game day. A Saturday showdown in San Francisco awaits the Commanders. We will talk with Coach about how his team is preparing for a Christmas Eve matchup with playoff implications. The 49ers are going to be a tough test, especially going up against their vaunted defense. Coach and Logan will review the game tape. And rookie running back Brian Robinson Jr. is really coming into his own in the backfield. Coach breaks down what makes B-Rob such a force for the offense. All that is coming your way right now. Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera is presented by your local Honda dealer. This holiday season, start making memories with a new Honda. And during Happy Honda Days, find the perfect Honda for you. Don't wait. Visit your local Honda dealer today. And welcome on in. Julie Donaldson here with the head coach Ron Rivera. And of course, we have Logan Paulson standing by. And 'tis the season. It is Christmas Eve. And so we need some holiday cheer. Of course, Logan will be much more efficient coach at going over the film than he was at the game. He didn't catch a single one.
I know. Are you doing a Bullwinkle impersonation?
Good thing he's not playing anymore. He gets to go over the film these days. Coach, look, it's a short week for you. And you have to, I think, one, physically get your team ready, which in and of itself is a challenge. But two, how do you go about, more importantly, mentally getting them ready after such a disappointing loss with such a huge game on the horizon? Well,
because this game is just as huge for us in terms of, hey, we're still in the playoff hunt. We have a great opportunity to go forward. So we got to go out and now we got to refocus. And that's really the truth of the matter. We talked a little bit about the other day, try to get through it. And now we're moved on and now we're focusing on San Francisco.
You always say 24 hours. You didn't really have that much time to go over this one because San Francisco is coming with one of the most stout defenses that there is out there. #1 total overall. So what is it you need to make in this week? What is it, the adjustments you made that we'll see on offense?
Well, the biggest thing, again, is really just attacking what they do, seeing how they want to play, what they try to do in certain situations, and then being able to take what we've done and use that to the best of our ability.
Taylor Heineke, a lot of talk about the quarterback situation. How does he help you in this game, and how can you help him?
Well, one of the things we can do because of his, we can move him in the pocket. We can have him in situations where he can escape and prolong some of these plays because of his athleticism. How we can help him? Run the ball successfully, use play action to our benefit, and move the pocket a little bit.
Brian Robinson Jr., my goodness, he is just really coming into his own. What is it like for you watching him come in and knowing that you can rely on him to be able to carry that ball the way he does?
Well, there is some confidence that, when you're going to put the ball in his hands, he's going to gain positive yardage, and that's always a big thing, is that you want to gain positive yardage. It's like us when we throw the ball to Terry, you just know something good can happen because of his ability. So you feel the same way when you're handing it off.
When it comes to the playmakers, of course, we've seen Jahan Dotson get into the end zone a lot. Of course, Terry McLaurin voted into the Pro Bowl. Curtis Sain with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Is there anything you do different with so many different options to try and say, okay, when we're in the red zone, we're going to convert that now?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you really want to do is make sure that we are spreading the ball out to those athletes. So those guys are getting a chance to make plays for us.
And then if we go to the other side of the ball, they have a quarterback coming in here, just a couple of starts, Brock Purdy. Have you seen enough of what he does to kind of feel confident in your game plan?
I think so, and it's not just necessarily what he does, but with what they do and then what they do with him. They've got some tremendous football players on that side. They've got a terrific tight end in Kittle. They've got wide receivers that are very athletic guys that can get vertical. And they got Christian McCaffrey, who I know very well, in the backfield. So they've got playmakers they try to spread the ball to. We just got to, be on our game so we can understand and figure out where we think they're going to go and to who.
Knowing that Christian McCaffrey can basically do everything, line up everywhere, and your familiarity with him, what's the best way to try and limit how he impacts the game?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if we can slow the running game down, it does change some of the things that they want to do because running is such a big part of what they've done. Kyle Shanahan's been a tremendous job since he's been there. They're a very physical running team. So if you can slow that down, it makes their play action ineffective. If not, it becomes a very good weapon for them.
Where did you feel about the defense coming out of last week and where they are now?
Oh, I thought the defense did a pretty good job. There was a couple of series that we could have been better, should have been better, but you got to give them credit, give the Giants a little bit of credit because they did some good things. But when we're on our game, we're doing the things that we're doing. We give ourselves an opportunity to win games.
A lot of it does come down to what? Yourself and Kyle Shanahan. Do you enjoy these matchups?
Oh, I do. I think again when you come up against teams that are coached and well coached, especially like the 49ers, you want to have success because again you feel that the things that we're doing are the right things.
You want to sit here and take a look at where the season started 1-4, the stretch that you just had, the game and the magnitude of that, but you still control your own destiny. How do you convey that message to the players?
I think more than anything else is we just got, it's very blunt, it's very upfront. As guys, just look at where we are. We're right there. We're at the edge. We have right now technically the last playoff spot. So if we continue to play well and put ourselves in that position, we can control our destiny throughout.
Well, Coach heads over to meet Logan in the film room. Let's talk a little more about rookie running back Brian Robinson Jr. B-Rob has been finding his footing in this offense as of late, and in last weekend's game against the Giants, he carried the ball 12 times for 89 yards, including a big 19-yard run. Now this after recovering from being shot twice back in August. Just an incredible story and a guy Coach Rivera and the Commanders are happy to have in this offense. So let's take a look at the numbers he has put up in his rookie season. Since he made his NFL debut in Week 5, Washington is now 5-0-1 when Robinson has 15 or more carries and 1-3 when he does not. Now for more on B-Rob and the Commanders' rushing attack, let's send it over to Coach and Logan in the film room. It's presented by Mavenspire. Ransomware goes 3 and out with Mavenspire's Smart as a Service cybersecurity offerings. Learn more at mavenspire.com. Okay, guys, take it away.
Julie, thanks so much. Coach, obviously tough coming in here after a loss, but I think there was a lot of good things to be taken from this young man right here and these 5 guys up front. And it's really 7 guys because you got tight ends and everybody doing their job. And I just think you guys have a really nice identity established off of this duo play. Back's going to attack the A-gap. You're going to bring Cole Turner back across. Bates is going to follow him. And what I love about this, Coach, is that they are in some type of run stunt here, right? They're kind of bringing these guys across. They're trying to stop your duo. But you guys run this run so much, you can get it blocked up, and I love the physicality here of Bates on the defensive end, like sticking his face on somebody. Cole Turner, a guy who's not supposed to be able to block, getting after the linebacker, and then Brian Robinson reading this out with his feet.
Yes, very much so. And again, a big part of what you said is, again, looking at the angles that are being created because of the type of blocking scheme that we're using. Yeah. Secondly, the placement of the bodies in terms of where these guys need to be. You look at how we handle it, how we block it up, it gives us an opportunity to hit a seam.
Hit a seam, right? And you mentioned the angles, Coach, like getting this guy on a double team here, right? Giving Lucas a nice, good angle to linebacker. It allows you to give these guys, put these guys in the best position to be successful. So it's awesome to see this run being executed at such a high level because you do so much play pass off of this as well.
Yes, we do, and that's a big part of it. Again, if we're running successfully, our play pass becomes even more relevant.
And then the other thing I love is Scott deserves a lot of credit here for this play design. You line Curtis up here in the backfield, little sneaky kind of deal here. And what I love is that he's going to release on a pass route here, out into a route. And what it does, Coach, is it holds, as you know, it holds this linebacker here, and it makes these blocks easier for the tight ends coming back. Because on counter, Coach, as you know, this guy's going to come, he's going to kick out the end, and then Logan Thomas is going to lean up on this guy. And that little release by Curtis Samuel just makes everything so much easier for him.
Very much so. And again, part of it is that we've got to do things like this because we do use Curtis in the backfield. Yeah. So if we don't use him where we have to have him as pretty much just a decoy, they'll always know that he's getting the ball. So these are some of the things that we have to counter, some of the things that we do with Curtis.
And it's very effective because he is an explosive player. And I just want to point out this wonderful block here by Norwell. I mean, he's a big, strong man getting after Kayvon Thibodeau, kind of saying, get out of the hole here. Logan Thomas on the second level. And then, Coach, like you can't coach this right here, this heart, this want to. And it's just cool to see everybody getting after this, moving this pile. B-Rob gets a lot of credit, but I see Lucas in there. I see Turner. I see Leno. I see Logan pushing that pile.
Absolutely. That's what you want to see. You want to see 10 of our 11 guys all coming to the pile up and working to gain more yards. That's a big part of why we've had success so far running it.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. And then this is another one. I really like this because it kind of plays off your similar duo action, right? You're going to bring this guy back across, but instead of hitting it to the front side A gap, you're hitting it to the back side A, you're hitting it to the front side A. And the cross shift action, the tight end coming back across, does an excellent job of holding this linebacker, Landon Collins here, and allowing Wes Schweitzer invites you to work up and get this block and making it like an easy run for B-Rob, and it's always scary when you see a big man getting into some space here for these secondary guys.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that, again, all this action designed to do exactly what it does, and that's to freeze, give them a little doubt, just enough for our offensive linemen to get in position to seal off the running line.
Yeah, and I just, like, you know, Wes hasn't played a ton of center. You know, he played a ton of center this offseason, but he's been hurt, and I just love the physicality here on the nose, getting some good nasty work and getting some good vertical movement, reestablishing that line of scrimmage. You got to love to see that.
Yes, very much so, very much so.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Coach, this is one of my sneaky favorite plays of the game. This is, again, the same run we had before. It's a tight zone run. Back's going here. He's got, or I forget which way he's going. Maybe this way. We'll see. Who cares about the run? Because all I care about, Coach, is this right here. And when you see your receiver kind of come across the formation like this and say, what's up to this corner? And, I mean, Coach, that is exploding through the hips. That's rolling the hips. That's putting your face on somebody. It's nice to see this kind of effort from a guy like this. Absolutely.
But, you know, that's one thing people don't understand about who Curtis is. Curtis is a very physical player, a guy that really likes to play the game. So when he gets an opportunity to block, he cherishes it, especially against a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I played for a long time, Coach, and this used to get me fired up more than like the touchdowns by the receivers. We come in the film, we see a receiver do that. I know that he loves the game, like you were saying, and it gets me fired up.
And you know what? A bunch of old coaches I've had that says, you want to see a good running team? Watch their wide receivers block.
Absolutely, and you guys got receivers that are willing to do the dirty work. Diami, Curtis, Terry, and even Jahan starting to do that stuff too. So awesome, Coach. I know it wasn't the result you wanted, but it's good to see this stuff, especially in a loss.
Well, it's beginning to come.
Yep.
For everything you need to know about the team, do not miss our flagship show, Command Center. We have you covered all week, starting on Mondays with Fred Smoot and Logan Paulson breaking down the highlights. Wednesdays, London Fletcher and Santana Moss take you onto the practice field for a close-up look at the team. And on Fridays, Santana and Logan are here to get you ready for game day. You can see every episode on our YouTube channel and on commanders.com. You can also check us out on NBC Sports Washington weekdays at 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. All right, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Coach and Logan are heading into Coach's office to review some of the 49ers game tape, dialing in on that defense, and it's a good one. You don't want to miss this inside access. And a little later, we're looking back at a winning legacy and getting the key to coming home with a win for Christmas. This is Command Center. Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. Welcome back. It is time for some healthy competition presented by Ortho Virginia, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of the Washington Commanders. So here's a look at how these two teams stack up on paper. The 49ers clinched the NFC West division with their Week 15 win over the Seahawks. Meanwhile, the Commanders are still one win away from collecting their most wins in a season since 2016, when they went 8-7-1. In a matter of hours, the Commanders will be teeing off against the 49ers. Now, San Francisco has already clinched a playoff spot, but they're still fighting for seeding, so we know we're going to be getting their best today. Meanwhile, Washington needs to win as many games as they can if they want to extend their season and get into the playoffs. So a win today would go a long ways towards accomplishing that. So how are they going to get that victory? Well, let's go inside Coach's office where Logan is with Coach. This is the Rivera Review, presented by DC Prime. All stakes are not created equal.
Coach, obviously San Francisco 49ers up this week on a short week, and this team is good. They got a really good defense, very fast defense, but I think there's some stuff, obviously, that you guys can take advantage of. Let's take a quick look at their defense. This is a keeper by Seattle, and I just, what jumps off the screen to me is just how fast they are, and how they have three linebackers that they can kind of leave on the field at all times to cover and to run, and I think that's one of the reasons they're good against the run.
Right. Well, they are. I mean, the big thing to me as far as this play is concerned, when you look at it, you know, there's a little bit of discipline that they play with as well. Bosa, for instance, doesn't go flat down the line chasing anything, allowing the bootleg to get out. He's able to get vertical, and he stops the play for the most part. And then with their team speed as far as their pass rushers, they're able to get to the quarterback quickly. Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that Bosa is being disciplined, because when I see this, I'm kind of like he's out of his gap. Like if the ball were to cut back there, you know, like he's technically out of his gap because he's playing vertical, right? Do you think he's focused on rushing the passer? Or? Oh, yeah, absolutely, more so than anything else. I mean, and that's probably the biggest thing you see. I mean, he, for the most part, recognizes that he has to get vertical and get upfield, and he forces it that way.
Yeah, so these guys are running all over the field. They're very fast. I think they're a very, very talented group. However, when you watch the Kansas City game, the offense that probably had the most success against them, their run game, obviously there's some jet sweeps and things like that in there, but they're running power here, Coach.
Yes.
And I see this line of scrimmage move pretty definitively. Like if you rewind that, they are off the ball probably about 5 yards.
Well, the biggest thing, more so than anything else, is, and you've got to take a look at this and you've got to hold true to it. Fast linebackers, for the most part, aren't the biggest guys on the football field. So you've got to be willing to attack downhill. You've got to be willing to double up, scoop up, and get you to the next level with good angles and create gaps and creases for your running backs to run through. And that's exactly what you see right here. Again, as you said, they're just running power. Okay. They've got the wing folding inside. He's going to lead into it. He's going to take the first color he sees as far as the linebacker is concerned. And now they're going to tell the safety to come up and make the tackle for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I see 65 and 77 here, and I'm like, that kind of looks like Sam Carsmy, Lucas, and Trey Turner. That's how you guys do that same double team. You guys will be able to get some movement there, I think, and get after some people.
I like to believe we can. Again, especially if you're starting to have the DBs tackle.
Yes, right. Especially, I mean, they have, a very small running back in Kansas City. You guys have a guy who's 230 pounds.
Yes.
So I think that matchup favors you pretty definitively.
I like to hope so.
So again, Brock Purdy's the quarterback, a guy that, Mr. Irrelevant, his story is well talked about. But one of the things that's surprising to me is everyone's talking about, well, he's throwing the football, but I see them running the football probably more than ever when Jimmy Garoppolo was a quarterback, right? They're running it, they're playing keepers. How important is it to stop Christian McCaffrey, a guy that you're very familiar with?
Well, I think the big thing is you don't want to let him get going downhill. Okay, because he's got tremendous speed, good quickness, he's got good vision. Here he just bends back the zone for the most part, and he hits the crease downhill because that's the style of runner that he is.
Yeah, and so to me, like, they've been a little bit less efficient with the run game that they're like, but they are an athletic offensive line. And how important is it that you guys kind of play your gaps soundly here and don't let this hold by Trent Williams hurt you?
Well, and that's exactly it, because again, what should be happening on this is 93 should just be closing it down. And part of the problem right here in a situation like this is now you're counting on the back judge way back here to seeing what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I like you pointed out, like, one of the things that Christian McCaffrey does exceptionally well, I think, is play with vision, and that, I think that's what separates him as a player. But the thing I think that's probably most kind of interesting about this offense is Brock Purdy's been struggling a little bit, right? Not struggling, but he's not a dynamic passer. They do a great job of scheming open big plays, right? So how is it that you are ready for plays like this? They're faking the screen. They got the receiver blocking down. It looks like screen to me. He's looking away, and then he finds a Kittle for a huge play here.
Well, again, that goes in part to the way it's schemed, but the truth of the matter is it's also based off of the reaction of the defense. Right here in this instance, when you watch the way the two inside linebackers play this, okay, they see this. They see the safety go out, safety's up over the top of the fullback, all right? The Mike linebacker, he's up over the top of Christian. So what that says is that the Will linebacker, the backside linebacker, should be pushing up over the top on top of
57 here.
Yep, he should be pushing up on the top of Kittle. The reason being why is because he's got what we call fire pass, full flow, four guys coming to one side, and he's got to pick up the tight end going vertical unless he and the safety, or excuse me, he and the corner have a switch on this guy hooking up, which I would doubt that they would want a linebacker covering the wide receiver who's hooking in the middle.
Right. Well, that's so interesting, Coach, because again, like, that's one of those little things, right? Four receivers to a side, and how that kind of messes with your rules a little bit, especially with the linebacker spot. So good scheme there. And so how do you prep for stuff like this? Because they seem to have a new one kind of each week.
Well, I think the biggest thing more than anything else is in these types of decisions, you have to play your responsibilities. Again, if you're assigned, you got the tight end based off of fire pass, full fire, or full flood, whatever you want to call it. He goes and he's got that man. He's got to stay with them.
And the other thing you mentioned there, Coach, is they've got a really dynamic tight end. They've got a really dynamic back. Kind of guys that challenge your linebackers, your safeties. How tough of a matchup is that for you guys?
I think it's a very tough matchup. Anytime you've got guys that are athletic that can run, it's always a challenge. And whether you got to match up with the safety, you got to match up with the linebacker, or corners for that matter, you just got to play your rules, play your techniques, understand where your leverage is.
I always appreciate these conversations. Learn so much every time we talk, and good luck against San Francisco.
All right.
On game days, do not miss Command Center Game Day Live, the official pregame show of the Washington Commanders. We're live on the air starting 2 hours before kickoff, so that will be 2 p.m. today for our matchup with the 49ers. You can watch on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. And after the game, don't miss Command Center Postgame Live for reaction analysis and interviews with head coach Ron Rivera. You can also find that on YouTube. Take command of your game days. Well, we're not done yet. When we come back, Coach is back here with me in the studio, and we're going to talk about how the Commanders can give everybody a gift, a win out in San Francisco. That's next on Command Center. Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer.
We want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
It is time for a winning legacy presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast with new Fast Play games from the Maryland Lottery. And today we have a Christmas gift for head coach Ron Rivera. We are flashing back to December 22nd, 1985, the date that you scored your first NFL touchdown. Look at that scoop and score in the fourth quarter there. Talk us through that one, Coach.
Well, they were throwing a swing pass outside. We were blitzing. Richard Dent was in a zone drop because it was a zone pressure. The ball was thrown. I just broke on it. Just happened to be the beneficiary of what he did.
And how do you rate the spike? Trying not to fall after.
A lot of effort.
It's great to be able to see that. You look back over the career that you've had from playing to coaching, and my goodness, get your guys to make some plays like this on Sunday, or Saturday, I guess. Yeah. What will be the key to that victory on Saturday? Well,
I do think what you said, as far as turnovers are concerned, we've got to protect the football and try and create as many as we can. I think that's one of the things. The other thing is whoever runs the ball more consistently will have the edge. So a lot of little things I think that are important, and those are the details of what we talk about in terms of running the football, stopping the run, play action, and then go from there.
Yeah, I don't think when they have not turned the ball over, they've not lost. So you've got to be able to try and take it away from them, which this team has been pretty good at as of late.
We have. Last week we didn't have as much success as we would like to. We turned it over a couple of times and didn't get any. We had the ball on the ground a couple of times. We didn't get it. And that's something that we've got to be better at, especially this week.
Of course, everybody for Christmas wants a victory. I'm sure everybody on the team as well. That is what we are hoping Washington comes back with. But since it is going to be Christmas tomorrow, any family Christmas traditions that you guys have?
Well, not necessarily. Probably the biggest thing is just what we eat. You know what we do. What happens is Stephanie gets Christmas pajamas for everybody, even the dogs.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow morning, Christmas pajamas for you and the family, Coach, but at least you do get to come back and spend it with the family and hopefully relax and celebrate as well. Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and of course to you as well. And let's look forward to a great game against the 49ers. Thanks so much for joining us on Coach Commands with head coach Ron.